Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm really excited to be here today to promote my brand new single coming out at the end of June, and it is called Feeling Good. It feels so good to finally say that. This has been in the works for a little bit of time now. I wrote this song in September of last year, and I had made a promise to myself that I would record it at some point in my life. And in May, it just felt right. Everything just lined into place, and I was like, hey, it is time. It is time to do something with my life. It is time to just do what I feel I'm meant to do right now. But don't get me wrong, the journey up to feeling good was quite the journey, and I'm here to give you just a little bit of background behind the song Feeling Good. It has been 2 years since I released a single. I mean, the last time I released a single was in January of 2018, and I released the songs Second Chance and So Good. And they are my babies. They are the things I'm so proud of, because 19-year-old Lindsay just really wanted to get the world to know that she was done with the way men treated her, and it was like a whole breakup thing. You know, I went through the breakup phase, and I channeled all those feelings into music. I don't regret those songs, but are they what I authentically stand for at this point in my life? No, not at all. I stand for bigger issues than, just a boy in Saskatchewan that broke my heart, or, my high school romance. The things I care about are mental health, because I struggled with mental health for a very long time, and I still struggle with it. I'm not cured. I'm never going to be cured. However, I have found lights at the end of the tunnel, and that's what I'm striving towards, and Feeling Good is part of that light that I have found. Feeling Good is specifically about my time in rehab. So yes, part of my mental health journey was struggling with addiction issues. And those stemmed from just childhood issues. I had a really rough childhood home growing up. It wasn't easy. It was a very scary home to live in. And that's as much as I'll say on that, because I've worked really hard to get to a point where that doesn't define my life as much anymore as it used to. Is it something I'm still working to heal? Absolutely, because those are wounds that I don't think will ever heal properly, but I can learn to, fill them with something else other than drugs. So along with my childhood home, I was really bullied in school. I was the weird kid. I didn't hit puberty until later in life. I was awkward. I was just that kid people didn't want to hang out with, and I was super easy to pick on because I was nerdy, and I was just that type of kid. And just that made it just 10 times worse. So I was very lonely. I didn't have a lot of friends to talk to. I didn't have very strong family bonds, none of that. And it just drove me to the point of like, I need to fit in with other people so people will accept me and like me, because I can't validate myself. And that's where I was at that point in time. So I started morphing myself into just fitting in with other groups of people. And along the way, I completely lost myself. And a lot more pain happened, a lot more incidents happened, and I found the party lifestyle, and I found ways to numb the pain, and I found people that would like me because I was doing the exact same things as them, and I didn't have to, fit in anymore. I had found my people, I had found my crowd, and that is not the truth. That is far from the truth. That is when I was hitting my rock bottom. Shortly after I released Second Chance and So Good, I started to go downhill, and I started to try things, and I started to really hate life. Those songs did not pick off the ground as much as I thought they would, because I was not confident in myself to drive them forward, because I still cared about what people thought. I needed that validation that those songs were amazing. I seeked it, and I seeked it, and I seeked it to the point where I drove my energy out, and I just gave up on them, and it was like a lost hope, and they were lost dreams, and they were worthless, and they were useless. And so I really went through the next 2 years after that of just totally going hard and just getting myself in a heap of trouble. I struggled with mental health in terms of depression and anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder, which affects millions of people worldwide. And it is one of the main drives for people to go into addiction, because it's a way to numb the pain. And I can't explain to somebody what the pain of PTSD is and just the things that come along with it. People who have experienced it knows it, and just it can literally drive someone to the point of insanity. Being constantly on edge and just being scared of everything and everybody, or wanting to harm other people. And that's just not who I am, but that's who I became because I couldn't control my emotions and my feelings. And at the end of the day, I wanted to die. And that's the truth. I experienced an overdose in September of 2018, and that did not faze me at all. It actually drove me worse. So I was like, wow, okay, I think I maybe found a way out. And that was really terrible thinking of mine, but it made sense for the situation I was in. So from that point forward, just things got really rough and they got really intense. The addiction got worse. The isolation from my family and the people that loved me got worse. And just I got deeper into this rabbit hole of this lifestyle. And I actually told myself at the beginning of 2019 that this was my last year I was going to live, because I hated my life that much. And I hated who I was because I didn't even know who I was. And, you know, I wrecked a lot of relationships at that time. I did things I'm not proud of to other people, and people did things to me that still haunt me to this day that I'm still working to heal from. And my life just broke, and I reached a hard rock bottom in July of last year because I had overdosed again. But then I realized, just like a slim realization in that moment, that I didn't want to die. You know, I don't know what it was. It was just kind of this, maybe there is something out there for me. Like, I'm not ready to die. Like, I don't want to go like this. I don't want my family to bury their daughter, their niece, their sister. I didn't want my friends to bury me. It was just, I knew I was stronger than this, and I knew that I could somehow come out of this. I just didn't know how, and I had to ask for help. And I got the help that I needed. And it was one of the hardest admissions I had to do, was to admit to people that I was an addict. And that's hard for me to even say on this channel, because there's still a stigma towards addicts and people who go through mental health struggles. People say, oh, it's destigmatized. That's absolutely BS in my opinion, because social media in particular is such a dark place. It's a great place to advocate for change, to get issues known into the world, to educate people, especially during times like these right now. But some people take it way too far, and especially in terms of mental health is so affected right now, especially because of the pandemic and also the current issues going on with society. And just, I just remember being in the shoes of like, I need help and my life is crap and my mental health was just not okay. So I ended up going to rehab to get my life back in order. And rehab, you know, someone asked me before I left, have a good vacation. It's not a vacation. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It was one of the most beautiful things and probably the best thing I had ever did for myself. But the things I talked about and the things I had to go through in order to break down my walls were brutal. And I had reached a point where my walls had broken down, and I was finally able to talk about some stuff. And I started healing a little bit, and I started feeling a little bit of light. And I sat down in the music room one day and I wrote Feeling Good. And I remember it came from just a soul that had lit up again for the first time in a very long time. You know, I remember being a little girl, and I just remember I always felt good. I always saw the beauty in life, and the beauty of sunshine and flowers and all that stuff. And then, you know, life happens and just all that light disappeared at a very young age. And it finally came back to me, and I was finally able to write the song of my dreams. You know, when I first started writing songs at 15, I knew I wanted to write something that had a legacy behind it, that had something that stood for something important, that people could listen to and they knew it was important. And I finally had wrote that song, I think about like 7 years later. And I had made a promise to myself and to other clients and to, you know, the people that worked there that I would record that song eventually. But I knew I needed to heal myself before I could potentially even try to help others, because if I am trying to help others while I'm still in a really dark place, it's just, I'm still going to pass on that negative dark energy. And I finally kind of, in May, I went through a situation that really hurt me, and it was a realization that life still happens regardless if I'm on the right life path. Like, I am clean, I haven't put substances into my body at that point for up to about 10 months, and I had gone through the situation and it felt like just another bottom emotionally for me. But I'm like, okay, what can I do? I can channel what I'm feeling and make myself feel good again by doing music. And I went and I recorded that song, and I poured my heart into it. And I was like, you know what? And I'm going to do a music video with it, and I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to see what happens. And then along with that, with everything going on in the world, I just know mental health is at a very low point right now. And, you know, addiction's on the rise, and there's been an opiate epidemic for years. And I've seen personally, for me, you know, in my own experience, you know, in recovery, I have seen so many people go back on relapse and die. And it's just, it breaks my heart. It really does, because there are ways to get help. So every buy and every stream creates proceeds. They create a profit. And I'm donating 100% of the profit to rehab centers and mental health organizations across Canada, because I was able to get help in the time that I needed it the most. And I want people to have that opportunity as well. You know, I want to be able to provide rehab centers funding. You know, they can get an extra bed. They can, you know, get funding for counselors and for food, and, you know, for mental health organizations to properly get their message out there that they're here to help us. And especially with other issues going on in the world, I want to comment on them, but I'm not as well fully educated enough to comment on them properly. But, you know, I'm a strong believer that everybody in the world deserves to be treated equally, regardless of the color of their skin, who they love, and what they believe in. I'm a huge believer in that 100%. And if, you know, I want to be able to donate to any organization that I can to help drive the openness of these issues too, and just to show my support in whatever way I can and what is needed of me. So this project I'm so excited about. Feeling Good is my life. It is my story. It is what I have to offer. And I'm so proud of myself for getting to this point, regardless of the things I've gone through in my life and still continue to go through. You know, all the heartbreaks and all the traumas and all the losses and the grief and just everything in between, I still see that light, and part of that light is this song. And I hope that this song just hits people, whoever it needs to hit. And I hope that it inspires. I hope the music video inspires. I did a very personal touch with it. It is beautiful, and that will be out for sure on June 30th. Of course, distribution wise, with the pandemic, people are working from home, and that's, you know, to get it distributed onto services, it can take a little while longer. If it does take longer than June 30th for you guys to be able to buy it or stream it, I will let you guys know, but it should be out June 30th, and it will be for sure out on this channel for you guys to listen to. I'm really honored. I want to thank Riverdale Recorders for helping me record this song, and the percussionists that came in to help me with the percussion and kept it a very simple, raw song, and that's exactly how I wanted it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that this helps explain what the song's about, and I am so excited to take you guys on this journey with me and for the music video to drop. So thank you so much, and we will see you guys on the next video. Have a great day.